What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well. We are just a couple hours away from our first week 3 game. And later tonight, I will be going live with the Hawks Nest on this channel and his channel, both at the same time. So we're going to be talking about the Patriots win a little bit. We're going to be talking about this Dolphins game that's coming up. So tune on in. And yeah, it's Thursday, which means we're just starting to get the motor revved on the week of football. But this video, I want to talk about one of the most important things in the NFL. I want to talk about one of the most important things in any kind of football. One of the best predictors for who is going to be good and who is going to be bad. Third down. Quite simply, third down. I remember about a year and a half ago, the Seahawks making one of the most important draft class selections ever that they've ever had. That 2023 draft class where they had 4 picks in the top 55. They had a top 5 pick. They had 2 first rounders, 2 top 20 picks. And I remember that a lot of people weren't really getting what the Seahawks were doing in that draft. This was just a year and a half ago. I remember very clearly, yes, some people liked the picks, but there was a lot of confusion. A lot of people weren't really sure what to make of those top 4 selections. Because really, I know we had later picks in that draft. Some of them were pretty good. Some of them were less notable. But it's really about those first 4 picks. Those 4 picks in the top 52. Devin Witherspoon, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Derek Hall, Zach Charbonnet. Those were your 4 guys that you came out of the top 2 rounds with in that draft. A historic amount of draft capital, by the way. And I remember some people didn't get it. So I made a video right after those picks were made. And what that video said basically was, think about football in terms of third down. And it's both sides of it. Can you stay on the field on third down? And can you get off the field on third down? So those 4 picks were designed to give you players that were going to help you do those 2 things. And in that video, the thing I really wanted to highlight was that the correlation between teams that are good on third down and the teams that win is extremely high. It's higher than anything else. If you are good on third down, you are almost certainly going to be a good team. Usually, you're going to be a great team. So, more than, passing yards or rushing yards or yards per game or anything like that, there was an incredibly strong correlation between third down success and ultimate result of winning and losing, or scoring and not allowing points. So that's what I wanted to highlight with those picks. Maybe they didn't make total sense to me either. I didn't necessarily love every single one of those picks. I thought they were all good. But you had a cornerback, you had a pass rusher, you had a slot receiver, and you had a running back whose primary skill set, in my opinion, is what he can do on third down as a third down back. So all 4 of those guys were brought in to help improve the team's performance on third down. So last year, if you guys paid any attention to the team, you know that third down was a little bit of a disaster. Not really because of those guys, more so because, well, we didn't really get much of a pass rush on defense, and we had no offensive line on offense. But through 2 games in 2024, I want to see what's up. I want to see if that's getting better. So let's take a look at third down conversion percentage, both committed and allowed. Now, real quick, I want to preface everything I'm about to say with this list of teams that are really good on third down, one way or the other, hasn't fully correlated itself yet to success, because it's been 2 games, right? Now, you look at the top 8 here: Arizona, New Orleans, Jets, Miami, Tampa, Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit. All those teams have at least 1 win, and 3 of them are undefeated. and those are the top 8 teams in converting third downs, okay. But then you have a team like the Giants. They're currently 9th, right? They're 9th in third down conversion, and their offense is terrible, and they can't win a game, right? And then you have a team like Kansas City at 26th, and they're 2-0, and they've had good offensive performances so far, right? So this is not yet where it needs to be in order to offer a full picture of correlation to success, but it's starting to come together, right? The teams up here are more likely to be successful offensively than the teams down here by a pretty wide margin. Like, look at who's down at the bottom. Carolina, you've got Cleveland, you've got Atlanta. They've been very disappointing on offense so far. Denver, Jacksonville. So it still correlates fairly well. Seattle offensively on third down is 12th. So a little bit above average, 40.74%. So just about 41%. And that's pretty good. It's not quite stand out yet. You're not top 10, but you are literally less than 1.5% from being in the top 10. You are 1.2% from being top 10. So you're right on the cusp there. And it doesn't seem like that big of a deal because 12 of 32 is still just right around the middle. But let's go back to 2023. Where was Seattle ranked here in third down conversion? Oop, my bad. Yeah, they were down here at 23. They were pretty much in the bottom quadrant, the bottom quarter, the bottom 25%. Very close. They were bad on third down. And that showed up in the results a little bit. Honestly, it was impressive that the Seahawks were able to field an average offense last year with a third down conversion rate this low. And again, you look at the teams near the top, you can see the correlation between success overall and success on third down. Buffalo, Dallas, Green Bay, San Francisco, Philadelphia, Kansas City, the Rams, Detroit, Tampa Bay, all playoff teams. All of these teams made the playoffs. Kansas City won the Super Bowl. San Fran played in the Super Bowl. So you can clearly see the correlation there, but you can the thing I'm trying to highlight here is the improvement. You've gone from 23rd in the league to 12th in the league, and all you had to do that was boost your percentage to not even 41% from 36%. We're talking about a boost of 5%, and suddenly you're in pretty good company. Now, it's only been 2 games, so we need time to let things settle. Like, Arizona's not going to convert 60% of their third downs this year. New Orleans is not going to convert 57%. And Carolina is eventually going to get into the double digits, I think. But here's the weird thing about this, and here's the thing that really gets me here. The Seattle Seahawks have an above-average third down conversion rate, even though they haven't done anything to improve their pass protection yet. Ben B. Baldwin on X posted this chart, I think yesterday, and he basically lists out the pass protection ratings composite for each team. And you got to go all the way to the bottom to get to the Seahawks. They are 29th. They have one of the worst pass protection aggregate scores in the entire league. PFF, SIS, ESPN, it's all pretty bad. ESPN gives them a 0, by the way. And I know that's reflective of the kind of weird way they do scoring, but it doesn't matter. If they'd given us a 1, it wouldn't be any better, really. It'd still be really bad. So we have bottom 5 pass protection from this offensive line. And yet, we have found a way to improve dramatically on third down. And that's really what I want to highlight here. This should get better. Like, we're 2 games in, so you can use that to say, oh, it's going to get worse. No, it should get better. Because pass protection on third down is everything. 90% of the time on third down, you're dropping back to pass. And if you can't pass protect on third down when the other team knows you're passing 90% of the time, or whatever high percentage it is, it's like 80s, high 80s, then what are you going to do? Then how are you holding up? And that was really what happened last year. The reason why this team was bad on third down was because they couldn't pass protect at all. They had bottom 5 offensive line play in pass protection. Well, they still have that, and now they're a little above average. So this should get better, right? Because it's hard to be worse than this. Only a few teams are. 3 teams right now are worse than the Seahawks in this ranking system. So it is far more likely they get better than they get worse just by virtue of the fact that it's common sense, right? It's hard to get worse when you're already very near the bottom. Far more likely you get a little bit better. By the way, we're going to get players back. George Fant might be back this week. Abe Lucas will be back eventually. Guard play has to improve because it's been so bad in that regard so far this season. Again, you can't get worse, so mathematically, it's far more likely you get better. Connor Williams will definitely get better. That's a given. So, it's paying off, guys. It is. Zach Charbonnet and JSN have been a big part of this improvement on third down. And that goes back to the decisions made in the 2023 draft, which, again, some people didn't get, and I defended them in this way. This is what football's about now. Succeed on third down, and you win. So, there's that part of it. Then I wanted to take a look at the defense. Opponent third down conversion percentage. How good are you at getting off the field on third down? So, you pull this up, you scroll down a little bit. Seattle's basically bang in the middle at 32.35%, so just under 1/3. Which is, here's the funny thing. First of all, let's just talk about this for a second. 32.35% is 17th in the league right now, which is basically bang average. If you go back to last year, it would have been number 2 in the league. Only Cleveland was better than that. Like, Denver was ranked 2nd in the league. We would have ranked higher than Denver with that exact same percentage on third down. So what that tells you is that offenses are having problems right now. Offenses are really having problems. And it's so early that this probably says more about your opponents than it does anything else. Nevertheless, I find this to be very notable and highlightable as well. If for no other reason than that it really does highlight how big a problem these offenses are having right now. Offenses are struggling to convert on third down here. And the fact that you have this many teams, like literally half the league, is holding up and not allowing conversions on 2/3 or more of their third downs is historic. And it won't hold, but maybe it holds to a certain extent. Maybe it holds a little bit, right? Like, Pittsburgh's not going to be below 20% all year. That's silly. Philly, Chicago, Arizona, they're not going to be at 25%. I don't even know how Philly's here. Their pass rush hasn't been that good. How are they holding up this well on third down? That's kind of wild. And it does speak to the small sample size we're talking about here. Although I would say, again, you're seeing correlation here. Pittsburgh is 2-0. The Chargers are 2-0. Got a couple teams here with 1 win, a few teams here that have 1 win each. And even a team like Vegas has managed to gut out a win, mostly on the back of their strength on third down. You have to get down to Tennessee here, which, I mean, they are top 10 here for whatever that's worth, to find a team that hasn't won a game yet. And then you go down to the very bottom here. It's not a clean correlation yet. A lot of pretty good teams are down here. I mean, Buffalo's 2-0, and they have one of the worst third down defenses in the league. Didn't expect to see that. But you are seeing some degree of correlation between the successful teams that are winning and getting off the field on third down. And that's what Devin Witherspoon is here to do, right? He's a cornerback, of course. He's here to do a lot. But when the other team drops back to pass, what he offers in the ability to take away one side of the field, take away a top receiving option, is massive. So, just for comparison's sake, by the way, you go back to 2023, Seattle was literally second to last in third down defense, 46.32%. They allowed third down conversions on very close to half of their opportunities. So it's a big improvement, even though this is still average. I did a little bit of looking into the third downs that we've had so far this season, and to see why this number might not be a little bit higher, because in theory, right, you've got this amazing secondary, you've got an amazing pass rush. You would think you would have one of the best third down conversion rates for defensively in the entire league. I was thinking maybe a lot of the third downs would be like 3rd and 3 or less, but that's not really the case. We did give up a pretty decent amount of 3rd and mediums. We gave up one on a penalty against the Patriots. So I think it's just something where we need to let these numbers balance out over the next month and a half, 2 months. But yeah, I really wanted to highlight this key improvement here. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks. Another video coming later for the injury report. Enjoy Thursday night football. And yeah, see you guys tonight for the stream.